Hey everyone, welcome back to CryptoCache. Thank you so much for joining me here. We're going to take a quick look here at Ethereum, see what's going on, of course, help you know and understand best practice and big picture. Take a look at, of course, this massive increase here, almost 13% from Ethereum in the recent past. So I hope you were taking my advice and dollar cost averaging when the price was down around 1200. Regardless of that fact, it's not to say we may not see that again. There's possibilities there. But for now, it does definitely look like Ethereum wants to kind of recover. Concurrent with the fact that Bitcoin is trying to push through a key level resistance right now. Hasn't officially yet, but it has a very strong, almost 8% day from Bitcoin, and that's going to translate into a strong day for Ethereum as well. Okay, even though Bitcoin and Ethereum aren't exactly head-to-head, Ethereum's been outperforming it. It's still one of those things where you got to recognize that Bitcoin could correct itself a little bit here soon, and if it does, then obviously Ethereum will do so as well, at least to an extent. All right. Anyways, if you're new to the channel, I'm not a financial advisor. I love teaching people to trade. Truly hope you can learn something here today. My goal is to help you become a better, more effective trader. So that's the whole goal. I have a trading academy, community, and signal group where I teach you to become a better trader. We all learn and grow together. And I also provide you with trade signals for trades that I take so you understand how to learn and structure your trades effectively. That's essentially the concept. But for now, with Ethereum, what we want to take a look at is some pretty important stuff. Oh, forgot to mention, if you are interested, CryptoCache.tech is a site, link in the description below if you want to become a community member. So here's where we're at. So, okay, first of all, we're underneath 70 on the RSI for Ethereum, which is very positive in a lot of ways. It shows we have more room for growth. In other words, Bitcoin is over 70 on the RSI presently today, whereas Ethereum is getting to that point. So it's a very positive sense in that way, but also keep in mind too, we're getting close to an overextension. As you can kind of see, this is overextended. Even though TD Sequential says we're only at a 5, we've had about 6 days of continuation to the upside. So we may not see, weeks worth of this behavior, right? It's probably only a couple more days if it were to continue to increase, all right? So just keep that in mind. That's essentially where we're at there for Ethereum. We can also recognize the fact that we have a very strong convergence here on the MACD, kind of just telling us that we're a bit on the overextended side as well. So while I do love and like what I see here so far in the macro for Ethereum, it's absolutely pushing itself to the max right now, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see a decent correction from Bitcoin that will also lead to a correction from Ethereum. All right, so again, it's a very strong coin, though. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of potential for this to continue to maintain itself. I don't necessarily think we're just going to see an instant reversal, but I do think a slight correction would make sense considering Bitcoin is on the overextended side as well. All right, so now that I've beaten that dead horse, let's go ahead and talk about some other stuff here. Look at the 4-hour and kind of see what's going on. First of all, with the 4-hour, we're above all key level resistances, so this is positive, of course. Oftentimes you can see the 20 work as a consistent trend line. So if you see this little trend here, just continues to go up. The 20-day set moving average on the 4-hour is commonly one of those indicators that helps us understand the coin is staying above a specific resistance or support level. So again, that's kind of where we're at there, which is nice. That's very positive. I don't love the overextension on the 4-hour. This does lead me to believe that we could see a correction here soon. If we were to see a correction, though, we might see our next Fibonacci retracement level retested right around 1450 or even 1400. 1400 makes more sense just based on the fact that that was a previous support level and could and likely should hold as a current support. All right, so again, just something to kind of think about there, but we are extremely overextended in a lot of ways here. And honestly, it can't really go too much further without some type of correction. When you see this happening on the oscillator, specifically on the MACD, a reversal will, in most cases, occur. Again, correction, reversal, whatever you want to call it, essentially, I do think that Ethereum is due for a slight adjustment. Okay, we'll just put it that way. But one cool thing we can kind of see here is that it consolidated really strong right here. So it gave it a good foundation, base, if you will, right around 1360. And that really helped it allow for this next push up because it was able to spend more time at that area. So when you see that kind of happen, that's a really good thing. So in truth, we have conflicting information here on the 4-hour, basically telling us we're above a lot of key level supports, but we're also overextended. So a lot of times when you see that overextension, it'll correct itself too. So that's just something I'm trying to kind of bring home here. If you got some profits, make sure to take them. There's nothing wrong with that. Just leave some of your position open too, because there's no reason to close your position. It's doing very well, right? So again, a lot of different schools of thought there, but generally speaking, the 4-hour does kind of, it gives us some conflicting info. It's not really telling us one way or the other which direction it's going to continue. But to me, oftentimes I like to bet against overextensions In other words, when we see something getting extremely overextended, the likelihood of it staying in that overextended state is pretty low. And in turn, a reversal is quite high, again, based on different supports and resistances in the area, but we have broken through this key level resistance. So 1400, I feel, would be the next correction area. So it would make sense the price comes down to 1400 to kind of give us that bounce. So I would say a good place to consider dollar cost averaging, or more importantly, just adding to your position, is right around 1400. That would make the most sense. Okay. So again, that's generally what we're looking at there for Ethereum. On the hourly, let's go ahead and take a quick peek at TD sequential. We can see we hit a 9 here, got a consolidation, and now we're legging up again. So just keep in mind, when you see 9s on TD sequential, consolidation typically occurs, and then the price action will either increase or decrease depending on its overall momentum. We just hit a 9 here recently, so I do think that this first push up here, that was just kind of a knee-jerk reaction of Bitcoin jumping up a couple of percentage, isn't really one of those things that's going to sustain itself. I do feel like we should see a correction here. Once again, natural correction to one of the two Fibonacci retracement levels. 1400 makes more sense, but we could actually see a bounce off 1460. All right, so that's kind of where we're looking at there. The last thing to touch on is the cloud. Pretty much every single coin right now has the same effect. In other words, lagging span is free and clear of the price action. That's check number one. Conversion lines above the baseline, well above the baseline. It shows we have a momentum, as well as the fact that, of course, the upper lead isn't even close to being touched. So again, if the price action were to come back down to retrace, it would make sense that it kind of bounced off the cloud and continues to go higher, or perhaps progresses through the cloud and continues upwards from there. But generally speaking, most signs right now do still point up. In that sense, it's just that, again, we got that overextension on the 4-hour and almost on the hourly. I think those things in combination will typically lead to the price action getting corrected. So to me, I think 1400 would be a good area to potentially add to your position, or maybe consider a long position at that point. Again, a lot of different schools of thought, but at this time, Ethereum's looking pretty darn good. And just to kind of highlight this too, and the reason why, we see the dollar index is down. It's actually down quite significantly. The harder it goes down, the higher Bitcoin will go. Okay, in most cases, that's usually how it works. So that little correction makes sense. We also have a gap up in the traditional markets. So that gap up effectively is giving us a position right now where there's more confidence, there's less fear, uncertainty, and doubt. And it's something that is important to acknowledge. Okay. So again, those things do factor in as well. It's good to look at everything. But generally speaking, Ethereum, I wouldn't bet against it right now. That's all there is to it. It has a lot of amplitude, and it's one of those coins that has a tendency of doing very well first before a lot of other alts. Obviously, Matic is doing very well too, and a handful of others. I covered Matic as well as Bitcoin already, and I'll continue to cover a few others as well, because I get a lot of requests right now for this, and it makes perfect sense. I get it. All right, so I'll try to make sure to be more consistent with Ethereum so we can kind of get perspective on that. But generally speaking, at this point, I think we're in pretty decent shape. Again, I would be cautious with a short position for Ethereum. Make it a really tight stop, or more so a more tight profit target if you were to do that, so you can get in and out quickly, right? Try not to get stuck in the mindset that it's just going to come crashing back down. It may not do that. All right, it looks more so like it wants to continue higher. All right, thanks again so much for your time. Hope you have a good learning experience, and if you want to become a better trader, CryptoCache.tech is the site. Have yourself a great rest of your day. We'll see you in the next one.